These are the top 5 most interesting NFL teams after the NFL draft. Now, interesting doesn't mean good. It doesn't mean a great team. It doesn't even mean they had the best draft or the most quality picks. It means the teams that I am most interested in watching in week 1 to see how their storylines develop throughout the season. Depth chart, interesting. First, let's get the honorable mentions out of the way. These are teams without quarterbacks that had excellent drafts or good teams in general. That's the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. Both would have very exciting teams, but they won't make any significant noise this year, so I just can't include them. They might be interesting from a good but circus perspective, but that's not the point of this video. Number 5 is the Arizona Cardinals. And now look, they were bottom 3 interesting team over the last 5 years. Granted, they have been a snooze, a boring team, and a pretty bad team. But they drafted the best running back in this draft class and the best running back since Bijan Robinson was a prospect. That makes you interesting. I'm sorry. That's a team that I want to watch. I want to watch that guy play NFL football. I don't care if it's in Arizona. I don't care if it's in their bad uniforms, in their soulless stadium, out in the desert. I want to watch that team. Cardinals also drafted Carson Beck. Now, he's listed as 3rd on their depth chart behind Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew, but he could see the field this year, okay? Interesting. Carson Beck, kind of a doofus, but he's 6'4". He has a big arm, double tatted arm sleeves. Like, I want to see what that guy does in the league. I have interest in that. Marvin Harrison Jr., we have him in a breakout or bust year in Arizona. One of the, most highly glazed prospects, most overhyped guys that we'd seen coming out. He had the Maserati Marv nickname donned on him by Gus Johnson. Everyone thought he was going to be a blue chip guy. So now we figure out, is it quarterback or is it Marvin Harrison? Is he not fast enough for the league? What's the deal with him? So we get to figure that out this year with Arizona. Plus, the defense has some pretty decently interesting players. Zaven Collins, Walter Nolan, first-round pick from last year. Will Johnson, great cornerback. Loved him in his rookie season. And then Budda Baker is an awesome character at safety. It's not a great team. It isn't. But they could be just fun enough and just good enough to make the NFC West sweat a little bit. Do they beat the Rams twice? No. Do they beat the 49ers twice? No. But if they steal a couple, if they take one from Seattle, it could make that whole dynamic better. That's all what the Cardinals should be about this year, is get better and start making your division sweat. This team has been forced into being interesting because they're coming from such a stark boredom, okay? But Jeremiah Love and a little scrappiness put them at number 5 for me. I can't wait to see him play. Number 4 is the Las Vegas Raiders. This is very similar to the Cardinals pick. They've been a disaster. They've been boring. They've been a dumpster fire. They've been a team that's gotten invaded by opposite teams' fans. Every home game feels like an away game. I'm sure putting a team in Vegas was a smart move. But they have the number 1 overall pick, and they draft Fernando Mendoza, who's an Eagle scout, and you put him in Las Vegas. He's the poster boy for good. All right. Heisman winning, national championship winning quarterback whose mom has MS and he's a family guy, stays with them during the draft, does everything for good. Right. And now he's playing football in Sin City in a blacked out dome owned by Mark Davis and Tom Brady. You couldn't script this stuff. You just couldn't. It's a dynamic that I cannot take my eyes off of. All offseason, we're going to start getting clips of him throwing in practice. The receivers aren't that good. But you know what they do have? They have Ashton Genty, who should be a pretty good running back. And they have the best tight end in football in Brock Bowers. So the clip hype is going to be huge for this team. Fernando Mendoza hype is going to be huge. They also have Dorco Kirk Cousins that should be playing backup for them in Vegas. So it's definitely a riser in interest. Like I want to see what the 1-1 quarterback does on his team. I'm not wrong about this one. Also, what do they do with Max Crosby? All right, an ugly separation turned now we have to keep you. That's crazy. It's a crazy operation. Additionally, they drafted well, and they had an awesome free agency. They bring in Tyler Linderbaum to actually become a legitimate offensive line and provide stability at the position for Genty and for Mendoza. And they add Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean for the defense in free agency. It's solid. It's rounding out a little bit. Now, their wide receiver room's not great. Their tackles aren't great, but it's a better team. And you have the number 1 quarterback this year. I need to see them. Additionally, in the draft, their defensive backfield, which has been wretched my whole life, dating back to Nnamdi Asomugha, got better. Jermon McCoy and Travdon Stukes, pardon me. That's good. They could have 2 rookie impact starters in the defensive backfield. The team is better. The team is interesting. Number 3 is a heavy hitter, and it's been a heavy hitter for the last 10 plus years. That's the New York Giants. This team is a tabloid machine. This team is interesting. Having to make multiple explicit statements about not trading your number 5 overall pick because your defense got so loaded is a subtle flex. We're not trading Kayvon Thibodeau, said multiple times, because they get Arvell Reese in their defense to join Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau. I know they lose Dexter Lawrence, but that's a murderer's row. That is a scary defense. It is a defense that can fly. It's a defense that can cause problems in the similar way that Arizona's defense could cause problems. For all the other better teams in the NFC East, if those guys turn up, then we're looking at stolen games. We're looking at teams moving from a definitive playoff position to a wild card bubble if it comes late in the season and the Giants want to play spoiler. It's interesting. It's really, really a solid group that they've built out. Also, Jackson Dart is exciting. Tell me he's not. I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's bad. He's exciting. He runs hard. He takes risks. He can kind of throw it a little bit. And he's getting a healthy Malik Neighbors back. That's exciting. They have tons of points of potential and hope on this team, which just crushes these Giants fans. It smokes them. It one-shots them. It crushes these people. But they put themselves in a position to legitimately have it this year. The Harbaugh addition, new head coach. Maybe we have some normalcy. Maybe we have some professionalism in the building. That is such a point of good, complete football team building. The Giants are in a position to take a game from every team in their division. They could take one from the Commanders. They could take one from the Cowboys. They could take one from the Eagles. That makes the division juicy. It makes it something that I want to watch. I now want to watch a Giants-Commanders game, which has been unwatchable for many years. This is the first year in a long time I've been able to say that preseason that I think that a lot of their games are going to be must-watch and not just for the disaster factor. Number 2 doesn't move since my pre-draft top 5 list, but it's the Dallas Cowboys. Caleb Downs going to Dallas is annoying for the whole league because he is so gifted. What a great pick by Dallas. What a spectacular pick by Dallas. The brain trust didn't overthink it, and they got one of the best defensive players in this draft and would be one of the best defensive players in the last 3 drafts combined. Just a total stud to help shore up their defensive backfield, which has been an Achilles heel for them. It has been a tough point for them. Ever since Trayvon Diggs' big injury, that defensive backfield hasn't been able to get back up on their feet. And now they have somebody that can change a game. They really worked on this defense. They really did. Over the past year, we're looking at a defense that has monumental changes. It looks way different, and somehow I could even say it's better now than the defense they were heading into the season with Micah Parsons. Like, I know it's crazy because Micah's probably a top 3 defensive player in the league when healthy, but it looks better. It looks more balanced. It looks complete. They just need to hit on either Donovan Ezeraku or Malachi Lawrence. One of these 2 reaches that they've had in the NFL draft needs to pan out. They need to be decent. They need to be 8 sacks a year. And now we're really looking at a team with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and Demarion Overshone. Like this is a team that could make noise. All right. So if they have one of those 2 guys pan out, we're looking at a completely different Dallas Cowboys. On the offensive side, we still have Dak. We still have CeeDee Lamb. We still have George Pickens. They bring back Javonte Williams, who had a great year. The team is not loaded. I won't say that they're loaded, but they're rebuilt. They're solid. They're a team that I think could put up 30 points in a game against just about anybody. Now, if they can just not bleed 30 points, then we're in a really good spot. Lastly, this is the 1-1. It should be a consensus 1-1 most interesting team in the entire NFL. That's the Chicago Bears. They might finally actually have done it. They may have finally found a quarterback. Legitimately. Caleb Williams made me a believer in year 1 because I saw the raw ability. Year 2, I saw the leap. And that made me devout Caleb Williams truther. Like, I have to stand by this guy and think he could be a quarterback to bring a Super Bowl to the Chicago Bears. I really do. I thought their draft stunk, but they're still on the precipice of being legit. That's how good they are. That's interesting. Dylan Thieneman, fine. Safety starter, great. Okay, it helps the defense. He could be good. He could be really good. I know they've seen safeties of his caliber or archetype in that division before, especially Harrison Smith. Everyone thought he was going to go to the Vikings, but he didn't. For the first time in decades, this team could build off of a great year with momentum and really make a push. It's wide open for the Chicago Bears. They have a ton of limitless potential. Second-year upstart Luther Burden as wide receiver. Awesome. Fun to watch. The same can be said with second-year tight end Colston Loveland, who I thought was going to be a stiff bore. I didn't think he was going to be making the plays that he was making, but he did. He was very good. There's a lot of hope on this team and this offense. It's not just the Bears running it down your throat for 3.3 yards a play and then trying to suffocate you with defense. They've got a dynamic offense. The offensive line is good too. First time I've been able to say that in a long time. And fans can't blame that point anymore. This team goes as far as Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson take them. There's no team that I think has more momentum rolling into this season than the Chicago Bears, and they drafted just well enough to not have that dissipate. Just well enough. They didn't draft great. Thought they were fine. But they had so much good momentum, so much goodwill, all of the one-score crazy wins. Now that has to turn into dominant wins. Now it has to turn into crushing the Packers in a game, crushing the Vikings in a game, beating down the Lions in a game. And we're looking at a whole new era. It takes a year, like they had last year, to just build that. And now we're looking at Chicago, most interesting team in the NFL. You can't take your eyes off this team this offseason.